It was in 1859, Nathan Tenney led 5 families 1 mile downstream to this location today known as Grafton Ghost Town. This small community planted crops, they dug irrigation ditches, and built homes. The idea was never for profit, but rather a community of faith. And it was in 1861 that the Civil War began and cotton became scarce. It was then that this area became Utah's Dixie and began to bear fruit. But cotton wouldn't feed the families, so this area needed produce. And so that's what happened. Cut back on cotton and start growing some food.
Welcome everyone to Weekend Escapades. Today we are back in Grafton, Utah, Ghost Town. We're going to start out over here at the cemetery. Now we've been out for just a little bit. We'll get into more of that later. Very interesting last couple of months. Apologize for the lack of videos, but we are back on track and we thought we'd start right here in Grafton as the weather has changed and it is very chilly. Come along and join the adventure.
Now it wasn't only cotton and produce to feed the families and keep this area to survive, but other things consumed the land as well. And one of those things is raging floods. In 1862, Grafton was mostly destroyed. It was said that the houses of old Grafton came floating down with furniture, clothing, and other property of the inhabitants, some of which was hauled out of the water, including 3 barrels of molasses. Grafton settlers relocated to higher ground 1 mile upstream of the first town, where the current townhouses now stand. Grafton's existence is the testament to the early settlers' perseverance and industrious spirit. And speaking of spirits, we are walking through the Grafton Ghost Town and its cemetery. It is said that this cemetery is haunted by spirits of the settlers that met their fate right here in Grafton. The pioneers that are laid to rest here in this cemetery were the victims of Indian raids, flooding, accidental pioneer deaths of the Old West, and of course the traditional diseases that existed back in the time, such as consumption. This cemetery is very well taken care of and well marked. There's a list of all the grave sites and the people that are laid to rest here as best they could, but it's very well detailed. So we're going to head down the road into Grafton.
So back here in Grafton, probably one of the friendliest ghost towns out there. Easy to see the buildings, well taken care of. The roads are well maintained, but still an amazing pioneer ghost town. Just really wanted to share it with you again today, getting back out there on our feet from being down for a while. Sometimes things happen, just happen, and you can't predict it, and you just can't get out there and get things done. So we had a little bit of that here the last month or so. Go take a look here. The building they've been restoring. Every time we come here, just a little bit more has been done. The views from these old cabins, absolutely beautiful. You know, Grafton restores these buildings. This one here for sure. You can see what a great job they've done, just like original style. The old handles on the doors. Go right outside and look at where your garden would have been. This huge valley. A lot of flooding took place here. A lot of flooding, a lot of attacks by Native Americans when they originally came here. We've done a great job on both these doors. A little window up top there. I'll tell you, you know what? I could live in a tiny home like this. I've said it before. I feel like I'm a tiny home kind of guy. And my favorite house is right up there. All right, so this one is beautifully kept and restored. I think this is my favorite. Nice patio, front porch. I'm gonna head right in the front door. All right, let's head on in. You can imagine back in the day sitting on this porch. Look at the view you'd have right here. In a handmade old wooden rocking chair. Look at those views. Now, it's hard to capture these views on camera because here You know, not looking through the lens, but with your own eyes. Amazing. All those sharp cliffs and the sun coming through there. And Zion is just a little bit to the east from us. Some happy cattle out there. Okay, let's go on in the front door now. Finally, had to show you the porch. You come in the main room here in the front door. Right over here is this beautiful fireplace. Big wood mantel. John and Ellen Smith wood. You can see the family tree right here next to it. Amazing to think that they lived here full time, used to farm this area. Use that fireplace to stay warm. You can see the way old homes are constructed. They're not real open. They have doorways everywhere to keep the rooms warm. But this house, pretty nice. Each room had its own fireplace. The floor's falling in there. A little bit smaller fireplace. It's probably a bedroom or something. This has a door that's going outside as well. Look at the ceiling. Every one of those boards is a different width. Rough cut timbers. Look at that one. Still has a knot and with just big planks, probably 2 inches. Looks about an inch thick actually. Huge plank ceiling, but this one all plastered in. With each room with a fireplace, you can close it off and stay warm in case it got real difficult in the wintertime. With 3 big rooms up here on the top floor, and it's got a nice root cellar underneath too. And this looks like it would have been maybe a little bit fancier, like the living room with that mantle. It's a good sized fireplace as well. 2 doors, 2 windows, and they've redone the roof with a crawl space in it. Now that's nicely done. Okay, headed out on the back porch. Ooh, that wood's soft. Careful there, that feels funny. Really gonna fall in. So the back porch here, and then there's a little root cellar underneath the house. We've been there before and looked at that. But just as I talk about this, one thing I want to say is thank you to everybody that's following along. We've had a lot of you folks that have been with us for quite some time. This channel's been around for almost 3 years now. It's certainly appreciated, but in 3 years, yeah, you know, things changed so much personally. We started this channel with just making videos for family and stuff to show them where we work. So we moved into Utah by way of Oregon a long time ago, about 5 years ago now. And we wanted to share with family what we were doing, and it's just become so much fun because there's so much to see. Well, we are planning on going south, Arizona, California, New Mexico. Not long from now. That's going to be kind of the direction we're going during winter. And there's some places in Arizona we just can't wait to go to. Really want to get to Tombstone. Let's go down here. And those places are going to be very interesting. But again, we had a little setback where we probably would have already been there. But now the holidays are upon us. So we're going to be doing just a little bit of holiday travel. A little air, a little vent going outside there. Their root cellar. Probably used to keep all their perishables down here. A lot of canned goods. There's a big piece of timber holding that up. So we just appreciate everybody coming along, and the folks that sponsor the channel, that are members of the channel. Amazing. You've been with the channel for so long, supporting us. There's quite a few others that have just joined on. In the next video, I'm going to make reference to that. But if you'd like to sponsor the channel and become a member, it certainly helps. As we all know, things are getting more expensive, and that includes travel. And we want to do more of it. And your support certainly helps. The more support we get here on the channel, the better it becomes, and the more we're able to film and do. So if you'd like, if you can help, fantastic. If not, hey, keep watching the videos and like and subscribe, because that in itself helps the channel become better and stronger. And you make a little bit from YouTube advertising. Not much, and they're changing it all the time, so it becomes more difficult to be able to do this stuff. So again, we are ready to kick it off here through the holiday season. And next spring, I think we're gonna do a heck of a lot more travel coming up here in the near future and make this channel even better. But again, thanks for your support. All the way from Tasmania, we have people watching. India, Germany, all over the place. It is so much fun and so interesting to know that people from all over the world watch the channel. I never imagined that it would even be that way. But it's now becoming a reality. I want to say thank you again to every viewer. Behind this door is a little Grafton gem, so I'm going to open it up. It says right there, if you open it, or the gate, please close it. I'm going to take that big chunk of wood off there and open up the door, because there's a old Grafton wagon in there. Was that an old buckboard? Is that what you would call it? Definitely like a farm wagon. Well, this one had metal on the wheels, a lot of them wood. That one's surrounded with metal, a little bit stronger maybe. Maybe a different time period. You never know what you're going to find in these old barns. Now it's time to close it back up. So this old barn, look at the way that's built. I mean, it's just wide open. It's got all the wood on there, but it's not weatherized by any means. And it's not going to keep much off of the roof. Maybe just a work barn. Fascinates me how rough that was put together, but yet how secure it is after all these years. Pretty basic, rough construction. Well, look at the windows framed out. There's that wagon. So here's this little livestock shed. It's pretty tiny. Looks like you would build a little dollhouse or something. You can see it's got a couple little stalls and this old pen right there. Could be a sheep or something. One separate one over there and one here. I imagine you keep the bigger livestock in there, sheep or maybe chickens, I don't know, but it looks to me like it would be like bigger livestock. Keep them warm and out of the rough winters. There it is. Right here next to this other one. So the house is over there. These are the barns. Love it. Some happy Grafton cows. Cattle. Well, one of them. Somebody corrected me a while back on that. You can correct me again if you like. To me, they're just cows. And they are happy looking. Eating and resting. Yeah. The schoolhouse and church built in 1886. And the Alonzo Russell home, circa 1862, right over there. And this one over here is going to be the Louisa Marie Russell home, right over there. And I think that was built like a for his wife, Louisa, from over here. So I think this was done by Alonzo Russell. And I believe then this was the wife's home over here on that one. We'll take a closer look at that. That's really interesting built. A lot of big timbers in that one. Huge, huge rough cut with like axes. And then this one over here constructed architecture out of sandstone, as well as the church. And the bell is still in the bell tower. So I think the only time that this is ever open is when they have an event here, because I've never had the doors open. We can always try them and see if they're open. But it says right on it that it's closed. There's what it looks like inside. Oh, those doorknobs don't work. All right, let's head over this way. So the creek is right over there, or the river, I should say, the Virgin River. And that river used to flood as it comes down from up in Zion, up here, flows right through here, and it would flood. And it just took this town out a couple of times. This town had a lot of tragedy, things that you haven't seen in the past if you watch the other videos on Grafton that were put up about a year ago, and I think we put one up 2 years ago. We like to keep coming back to these locations and seeing if anything's changed. And again, with what has happened, I haven't been able to travel that far. And I'll tell you what that was. Out of the blue, I had a cold, got a cough, coughed too hard, and I had a sciatic problem for almost a month. And I could hardly move when I'd walk and get out of a chair. Never have had that happen to me before. So that is where we're at and why we haven't been able to do as many videos. And we're gonna start here while I'm getting back on it. What a better location to get started again. But again, look at the construction on this. We've again shown it before, but look at the size of that piece of wood up there. That's the header on this house. And it's all mudded in at the top. But look at the axe marks from this wood being cut. Those are literally axe marks. I'm chipping that wood away. The things we have to do now to build a house to be able to live in it. And these folks used to just take lumber, chip it away, doesn't even care if it's straight. And this stands up better than some old house or new houses that are out there. Got sandstone brick at the top. And they lived in these houses. For them, probably fairly comfortable because they didn't know what the other comforts were like. Watch your head, because they were a lot shorter back in the Old West in the 1800s. Last time I came in here, I hit my head on that one right over there. And this one had a pretty nice fireplace as well. Was this a little bedroom or a mud room or something? Now there's no heat in this one. And it wasn't stuccoed, so I'm imagining there was a door here. And this was like the outside mud room area. Because there's the outside of the house right there. Those big timbers. This is kind of an add-on. Maybe they kept the animals in there in the wintertime to keep them warm. I've heard of that happening. And this one, no fireplace. But this was added on as well to expand. You can see these joists, or whatever you want to call them, through here. Went all the way through into this room and held that roof up, that ceiling. So those boards are nailed into those cross beams. And this was added on also. See the stone, the sandstone outside wall that they added on. And then this right here would have been another area for stovepipe to go through the roof, and they've sealed it up as they have rebuilt this. Come out here and get your eggs from your chickens to be able to have breakfast. And maybe even have a chicken once in a while. Two little stalls for the sheep and some little windows for them to get some fresh air. All right, last one to go into, and that's the big house right over here. And there's multiple fireplaces in this one and multiple rooms. This is a very fancy home for its period, for its time that it was built. All right, so inside, coming right through the front door, the people and the places of Grafton. Long past family members of Grafton. You see one of the buildings here that's no longer here. It looks like almost a store or supply. Has a bottle painted on the wall here or on the outside. But that's the church and the school in the background. And the kids that went to school. And I'm sure some of the church members around a big feast inside that building. And this is the Heritage Restoration in Grafton. The condition of what the school and church look like, and what it looks like now. You can see what the outside of it looked like, the old porch of the home. That's what it looks like now. So this was really falling down. And that is the grave sites that we saw. And then they've upgraded it to this. So the restoration project has really done well. And they have some events out here that where people can donate money and things, and people come out and volunteer to make it look amazing. Now this is Alonzo Hevington Russell, 1821 to 1910. Early settlers of Grafton. They came to Grafton in 1861. Left Nancy Briggs Foster Russell, 1825 to 1903, second wife. Right is Louise Maria Foster Russell, the fourth wife. Now, I believe she's the one that lives in the house that's right through that window. So, multiple wives, different houses. And this is all about the Russell home. And this is the Russell family band. That's like I was saying, out on the porch, playing music. They all kept it popping around here with some jazzy music. And another small room right over here. I'm assuming little bedrooms. Well, this one with no heat at all. No place for a wood stove. So they probably would have shut this one off because they wouldn't want to heat that and keep the rest of the room warm. Probably all huddled up in one room when it got real cold, especially one of these rooms with a fireplace. A wood stove, more efficient. A little potbelly wood stove in those rooms, but fireplace is good, but not as good as a wood stove. They really kick out the heat. And here's the Russell home again when they're restoring it. There it is finished. Yeah, the cellar to the old house. A little bigger than the other one. Look at that. I didn't see a hole upstairs in the floor for those stairs. So they could come down from inside. That's pretty rare on this year build. They usually have it just coming outside. Some of the sandstone bricks to help. Probably kept those pretty good condition to be able to rebuild the house if they need to or if something goes wrong. There you go, all sealed up. All right, well that's gonna do it for today from Grafton, Utah. All bundled up, not used to the weather being in the 40s. We hope you enjoyed the video. And until the next time, goodbye from Weekend Escapades. We'll see you in the next one.